You know, this is what fucking galls me. What just makes me become the fucking maniac sometimes, metaphorically speaking, that I become. Here we have this major international, national, local, even news event ongoing taking place. What with all the shit going on with Iran, Israel, the United States. I said to you, this area, which is supposedly cosmopolitan, near Silicon Valley, near two esteemed universities, Stanford and Cal. And yet we have no international news. We have no, frankly, responsible news. We got a bunch of fucking schmucks and morons and idiots who should know better, at least the majority of them should know better than to go out and to write or broadcast real news. Now we have this terror threat taking place, and Iran has officially and unofficially suggested, rather in terse terms, that one of their options based on the US strike the other night was to retaliate, possibly hit US bases in the Middle East, possibly unleash some of their so called sleeper cells around the West, possibly in the United States. Maybe go after, as I've heard, soft targets, including those on the West Coast. Now, they could go after a target in LA, maybe an amusement park, God forbid, maybe something more glamorous in their mind. What do we have here in the Bay Area? And I'm just suggesting this. I'm not saying this is the gospel, so to speak. We have soft targets, do we? Oh, I don't know. Have you ever heard of the Golden Gate Bridge? Have you ever heard of what they regard as one of the most beautiful landmark stadiums in the country? The baseball park. We have Fisherman's Wharf. We have other areas. We have the wine country. But as a target, those very public, symbolic places like Disneyland in LA, baseball parks, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, but mostly the Golden Gate Bridge. I heard a soft target. Where do you think 50,000 or so people hang out? That would make for an easy target. I'm not suggesting nor encouraging, of course, anything tragic, but it's on their list. And they're not exactly the most sane individuals, at least the government. Who the hell knows? I'm angry because our alleged Bay Area press has not said anything. Have the so called toy department people, the people that cover sports, have they even uttered or talked about it? Have they asked so called people involved in security with our baseball team who is playing right now, have they had any specific threats, which probably has not taken place? But you would think, folks, ask the question. Yes, of course, it's not a very pleasant thing to ask, but we're in a different world. Excuse me, Mr. Mrs. So and so. What I'm just kind of throwing this out as an example. With what's taking place, head of Giant Security, head of Golden Gate Bridge Security, with what's happening in the world, what has transpired over the past couple of days, is there any extra security? Has there been any kind of specific threat? Ask the goddamn question. How ridiculous, how pathetic that you don't even ask. It's like they live in a bubble. They don't think beyond the scope of what they're supposed to be doing. It's basic, folks, basic reporting 101. You may be frowned upon, you may be looked upon. They may say, we're not at liberty to answer such a question. Fine. But at least you've put the question out. Doesn't just go for the small amount of newspaper reporters left or beat reporters. Anybody, TV people. We don't have much radio here. Radio reporters. That's just like a goddamn easy 101. We're in an area where they have iconic symbols. Remember, we talked about this right after 9/11. Thank God nothing happened. But in the world in which we live today, 25 years or so later, and what's taking place, the fact that all we hear about with good justification is the fact that Iran is contemplating retaliatory situations, and more than likely, to add to the substance here, they can't do it in a conventional military way. Oh, they can throw a few missile lobs and all that. They can do it in the most effective manner possible. Something that we shouldn't have to be even putting in the back of our mind because it's relevant, unfortunately. The world in which we live in today, they've used terror. They put out a hit on our president. They have so-called sleeper cells, supposedly here. They're looking for soft targets. Now, look, this all may be complete BS. Maybe the fact that or I'm at least, discussing it, maybe that's their aim. Maybe they want to put fear into our minds. Of course they do. But to not address it, to not ask the various powers that be, hell, our own mayor. Nobody even asked the mayor, Daniel Lurie, or anybody for that matter. Our cops. Is there a heightened level of security? Has there been a specific threat? Now, if there has been, they're not going to tell us there have been, or more than likely they'll say no, there hasn't been a specific threat. But yes, we have more security. We're more aware, especially near the Golden Gate Bridge, especially near known tourist areas like Fisherman's Wharf, like various neighborhoods, North Beach, the marina, the Bay Area. I don't know. But you have to ask. What morons do we have? What are they going around talking about? Yeah, there was a big to-do in Tahoe. That was legitimate news. I get all that. With the boat capsizing and 6 people lost their lives. I am not talking about specific news events. I'm talking about what we constitute ridiculously as press. These assholes who more than likely are just sitting at their computer surfing the web so they can send a goddamn reporter, if they do at all, out to find out what Bay Area landmark has the best hamburger. Where's the best burrito in the Mission? That's what we get. You deserve better than that, folks. Because yes, it's unpleasant. Yes, it's depressing. Yes, we're on the cusp of summer, and it's sort of inconvenient. It disrupts our daily lives to have this in the back of our mind, but it is responsibility 101A. It's part of the fifth estate or the fourth estate. I don't even know what I'm saying in that regard. They're the press. They're supposed to be our ombudsman, right? Hell no. They more than likely want to go talk about alfalfa sprouts or where the best ice cream hangout is in Walnut Creek. Maybe it's time to talk about another heat wave, as if we haven't had a fucking heat wave for a while. It's part of our new norm, as they call it. Yeah, it is. In the wintertime, it rains. We get floods. We get occasionally bigger floods. People expire. In the summertime, oh my God, we have heat waves. The marine layer, of course, they can't call it fog. They're going to call it the marine layer. Hasn't been around in a couple of weeks. So now we're going to hear about the fact, what's happened to the marine layer? God damn it. Stick to fucking basic news. I'm angry. I am a purveyor of what is supposed to be common sense. You ask the question. You've been given a very lucky job, even though this day and age it doesn't pay shit, to ask unpopular questions. That is your job. There is a responsibility that comes within the framework of a microphone or a keyboard or anything. Your duty, it's not official, but it would be really nice every now and then if you perform a basic function like asking a goddamn legitimate question. We live in a different world. Now, especially, we have more heightened things taking place. Most of it, some of it, not at our disposal and not in our control. We live among the living. We walk around, we go to Fisherman's Wharf. The last time some people actually went to Fisherman's Wharf. We go across the Golden Gate Bridge every day, thousands, commuters. Wouldn't it be a legitimate question to say, they had this incident the other night. These bombers, these big bombers with these big 30,000-pound bombs hit Iran. Iran has been known to cause terror, especially within the framework of American people. Remember that little itsy bitsy thing years ago, 1979? They took employees in our embassy, made them hostages. They stayed there over a year and a half before Reagan got them out. They have been known to do things like that. And yes, if they could, they probably would do the unthinkable. But again, it's not popular. It would be really cranky, but it is useful. We demand it. Even those of us glutton and with, farts as brains say, you know what? That person, that reporter for Channel 7, or that correspondent, if I can use that word, for the Chronicle, asked a question that should have been asked, yet nothing is asked. Nothing is reported on. Could some asshole fucker from Channel 4 get in their little van or whatever they use, go out and talk to people? Are they worried? I'd be worried. I'm not hypochondriacal. I'm not paranoid for the most part, but it is on our mind, subconsciously at worst. We deserve that. Ask those questions. Okay, so somebody says, why ask that? Why are you so negative? Why are you so depressing? Because it's the legitimate thing to do. It's an unofficial part of the gig. It's unpleasant. I keep saying it, but you can at least ask it. Therefore, we're not caught on our ass thinking that why wasn't that done in the first place? Folks, I hate to be the purveyor of negativity and acting crazy and all that, metaphorically speaking, crazy. But, we're in a different world these days. It's not something that we look forward to. We have summer with us. Kids are out of school. I know everybody's thinking about swimming pools and day camp and vacations and all of that. But even there in Europe, in parts of the Mediterranean, they've put warnings on. We are, for lack of a better word, and it's inconvenient to say, we are in a part of the United States where there are these massive symbolic places like the Golden Gate Bridge, I've said, Fisherman's Wharf, iconic places, strategic places I've talked about in the past, like Silicon Valley. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, broadcasts, investigates, even dare ask these very, yes, unpopular questions. But guess what? It is in our intention. It is in our goodwill that we think about these things. We do, even subconsciously. It's part of our mindset. This is what we've become. It's not because we do any bad things or dastardly things ourselves, but it has to become, and it is, part of the lexicon. It's the world in which we live. Somebody, please, be a reporter, be an anchorman, go out, take a couple of camera guys out to Union Square. and ask the unpleasant question. You can ask men on the street, women on the street, kids, anything. Fuck the ice cream cones in Walnut Creek and the fact we're having a heat wave come the 4th of July. Do something that matters. It's part of your job.